Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Marg. And welcome everyone to the Club Coach Mastermind. We normally have quite a few club coaches or people interested in club coaches attending this session, but I believe we have VP educations in the house, as well as other people supporting their own clubs and maybe venturing out to support other clubs. So let's just do a bit of a quick round of introduction just because we've got a smaller crowd here today. So let's start with Kathy, followed by Marg. So your name, which club, and what you're hoping to get out of this session this evening.
My name is Kathy Morell, and I belong to 3 clubs. I belong to Big Country, which we made distinguished last year, and I became an official club coach done. And then we have TAP, Toastmasters at Palliser, and BLT. And I am learning the new program, so this is good. I can see what all is involved in the reports.
Excellent. Thanks, Kathy. Marg, and then Debbie.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Ustopsky. I belong to 3 clubs as well. I belong to BLT Advanced, Toastmasters at Palliser, and Downtowners in Regina. I am currently a club coach, working diligently to get our club up to distinguished status, hoping for success this year. And part of my role this year is working with the club coaches. I am part of the club extension committee, as is Kathy, and we are working to find coaches for clubs and to keep clubs vibrant and healthy. Over to Debbie.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Debbie Stearns. I am District 42's Club Growth Director. I'm also a member of Civil Speakers, BLT Advanced, TAP, and also MVP Advanced. What I want to get out of this evening is reports. Help me with my current position as Club Growth Director. There are a lot of reports to read and just kind of dive into. And with this session, I hope to be able to have more, more insight on what the reports are. Back to you, Catherine.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Debbie. Let's go to Tanya and then followed by Tonka.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Tanya. I've been a Toastmaster for about a year. I was nominated and accepted the position of VP of Education, and I understand there are lots of reports to do. So I hope to learn more about those reports that I need to capture and get information. I'm a member of Inspired, which is in Northeast Calgary.
Awesome. Thank you, Tanya, and welcome. And Tonka, followed by Freddie.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tonka Buklieva. I am a member of the Calgary Pacers Club. I'm the VP Ed. It's my first time being a VP Ed. I'm not familiar with reports, so I really want to learn about reports so that I know how I can support my club. So excited to be here. Thank you for organizing the event. Really looking forward to learn new things.
Awesome. Thanks, Tonka. Freddie?
Hi, everybody. My name is Freddie Dogtrum. I am the VP of Education for Dynamically Speaking Toastmasters. I'm also a member of Money Matters in District 96. I have the privilege of zooming around the world and working with different districts and clubs. The main thing that I focus on is mentorship and building your club one person at a time. I am the VP of Education, which is an executive role in my 22 years I've never held before. So this is my first time as VP of Ed. I've done this, that, and the other thing. I'm intrigued by the reports because one of the challenges that I see is that people are hanging on to the olden days with one hand, and yet their free hand has not fully embraced the new way. I love pathways. I think that it was just a wonderful way of moving our educational communication and leadership system into the new world. Now, I understand that there's hiccups and challenges. Hey, even Microsoft had problems. And so I am looking forward to learning about the reports that are available to me in order to be able to support my club members, but also this knowledge I'm going to take around the world. And if I get a chance to listen to Catherine Secundiak, you know what? I will give up card night with the girls to listen to Catherine Secundiak. Dynamically Speaking has been a President's Distinguished Club for 18 out of the 19 years, and currently we are already distinguished.
Excellent. Boy, so far everybody's coming from very strong clubs. So this is a very exciting group of folks. And we also have Yvonne. So Yvonne, we're introducing ourselves, which club we belong to, how long we've been in Toastmasters, and what you're hoping to get from tonight.
My name is Yvonne Harima. I'm a member of the Igniters Toastmasters in Calgary. And I'm working as a club coach now with the Weekend Word Masters in Regina, trying to build them up to get back to the levels they were before. But it's hard at the club that people are retiring and thinking, believing that retiring means you do less. I've been retired since I got sick, so I've been retired for 30 years, and I keep doing more and more. So we have to address all, I will be addressing all those issues with them. I think they're a fabulous group of people. Michelle holds the weight of the world on her shoulders, which seems to be quite capable, and I'm going to have great success with them. I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent.
And did you want anything else? That's really covers it.
No. What are you hoping to get out of this evening?
Oh, I just want to find out more about what I can do to be a club coach. I've read the materials that are available, but it's not as good as talking to wise souls that have probably done it before, doing it now. I think that any extra tricks I can put in my back pocket are going to come in useful, because I think we're going to need to pull some out.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we just got Leela joining us, so we'll just give her a moment to get her audio on. Good evening, Leela. Are you there?
Halfway.
Hi,
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. We were just introducing ourselves. If you are ready to go, if you'd like to share your name, the club that you belong to or involved with, and how long you've been a Toastmasters, and what you're hoping to get out of this session.
Thank you. Yes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lila Cooper, and I belong to the BLT Advanced Club from Regina. I started Toastmasters in 2018 in Prince Albert and moved to Weyburn in 2019 and continued Toastmasters here. And really a highlight for me in Toastmasters is the friendly, supportive environment where you get positive feedback and really what coaching is about, right? Helping you in the right direction, even when you sometimes go a few steps back. You can hold on and come back for more. Thank you. Back to you.
Excellent. Okay, perfect. All right. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about how do you guys feel about reports? How do you feel, first of all, about writing reports? Who'd like to share their thoughts on writing reports? Freddie.
I'd rather stick needles in my eyes.
Exactly. I hear you.
I don't like writing reports. I appreciate the talents of others. I like reading reports, but when it comes to gathering, this is not my strength. When it comes to gathering the data, collating it, interpreting, and putting it into a report, it is just, I run and hide.
I see others seem to fall within that landscape as well. I can appreciate that. I have what I call a form filling phobia. And when anyone asks me to fill something out, I just like cringe because it just, it's really bothersome. But I joined Toastmasters way back in 2010. I joined because I was trying to convince my boss to listen to my ideas. And no matter how I presented or uh, compiled information, shared with her, I tried PowerPoints, like I could not get through to her. And I was really frustrated with that. So that's the main driver of why I joined Toastmasters, because I was trying to find ways to communicate to my director so that she would listen to me. It's taken a while to get really clear and concise. So I'm not saying that this is something that's going to be perfect, but at least for the club coach, folks who are involved in the club coach program, this year, Toastmasters, starting last year, Toastmasters developed some reporting into the club coach program, which involves or helps collate that information into a story. So today, I know there's a lot of people who are not involved in the club coach and a few people who are. So we will touch on that towards the end of those reports. But I encourage the VP Eds that are here to consider looking at some of those templates to use as a guideline as you're starting to think about the progress of your report of your clubs and how to make that message a little bit more effective. So there'll be a few concepts that we'll talk about today about reports, why they're important, different aspects of how they're used and why they're used, just to really anchor down in what Freddie says, the appreciation for that process. Specific to Toastmasters, we'll dive into some of the reports that are available for you and start talking about what kind of story that could create for your club, for the club that you're supporting, to help them see where there might be some opportunities. And then at the end, we'll have some time to look at the club coach specific status reports and initial report and progress report. So let's get started. So why are reports useful? Does anybody have any thoughts on, why are reports helpful? How do they help us? Yvonne.
Well, I think there's two reasons. One, it keeps you on track to find out where you started and where you're ending and the progress you're making with your club as you go along. And you're not the only one that needs to know. The district needs to know as well. The area needs to know as well. We need to know what's going on with those clubs and what kind of an impact we're making. Doing reports can be onerous, but it doesn't have to be. I think you either make them onerous or you just say, I guess I've written so many exams in my life, it's just like another exam, right? Either you know the answers or you don't. And the good thought about being a report for your club as coach, if you don't know, talk to somebody in the club, find out the answers, and then fill out the report. And that's my answer.
Nice. Awesome. Thanks, Yvonne. Yes, absolutely. It's a way to be able to track status and kind of know what's going on. And he kind of touched on that. We'll get into that a little bit more later. There's kind of two different pieces. There are, the stats or the numbers, but then there's also the story or narrative behind that. So we'll get into that a little bit. What else? What else do people see that reports are valuable, or how can they help? Freddie.
Well, one of my major focuses is on mentorship of individual members. And one of the things that I look for in reports written by others, not myself, one of the things that I look for in reports is individual progress so that I can bring that into the mentorship meeting. So whether it's a Pathways report or a Free Host Toast report, or even taking a look at the Distinguished Club report so that the individual can see how they are contributing to the bigger goal.
I like that. Do you have any templates you could share there, Freddie?
I don't write, I talk.
Excellent. I can envision it though, a bit of a summary for that person. Hey, here's what you've completed so far. This is congratulations, you're on your way to your goal. Excellent. All right, so there's a few reasons or advantages. Oh, Mark, did you have something you want to add?
I was just going to say, for those that are vice presidents of education, tracking people allows you to congratulate them when they achieve some of those goals, or maybe encourage them to complete some of those goals.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the moments of truth in successful clubs, right? That moment that really matters to our members is that recognition, timely recognition. So staying on top of things and making sure that we are able to do that. All right, so in a general sense, reports serve a number of purposes. In particular, there's a few that I'll highlight here. So it is, and you guys have already kind of touched on some of these aspects, but one of them being assessing top risks and opportunities. So there's often lots of information to sort through, particularly when you're looking at a club or if you're looking at a business or in a volunteer organization. Looking at reports really helps, or even preparing reports really helps you assess what are the top risks and opportunities. You really can't tackle it all. You want to focus on a few things that you can really make a difference on. Secondly, is identifying trends. So you can see over time trends and statistics. So Freddie, for example, talked about her club, 18 years distinguished. That's a trend. And they're almost already distinguished for this year once we get to the April renewals. So that's a trend that you can see. You might notice other trends that are happening in the club or in a business, sales going down, membership going up, lots of different indicators there of identifying trends. Reports can be used to get the support of management. So in particular with in an organization, say for myself, as I was trying to convince my boss to listen to me or understand my ideas, an effective status report or business report can really help sell that idea. As in Toastmasters as well. And I think it was Yvonne that mentioned that this is an opportunity for you to get support from the district to really highlight where there's some opportunities for those upper levels to provide some programming, some resources, some additional supports. And of course, an efficient report really helps with decision makers. As a club coach, if you're working with the club executive, this really helps. Compiling information can really help them make decisions more efficiently. Leaders don't have a lot of time. Nobody has a lot of time. Our time is precious. And so a quick summary really helps drill down to the key points. Ensuring accuracy. So in business, in organizations, it's really important to make good decisions and quick decisions in some cases. So making sure that you're accurate. So providing reports with supporting documentation is way more effective in business. And engagement. So this is an opportunity to engage people in your ideas, get them to buy into what you're selling, and be able to highlight maybe some of the successes that you've done. Sell yourself a little bit. So reports are really important. Now at the district level, district or in Toastmasters or any organization, there is a planning cycle. So we'll go over this very quickly. But it's first of all, starting with a vision. Where do you see yourself? So where do you see the district? Where do you see the club in 3 to 5 years? Is that you'd like to be president's distinguished? You'd like to have 30, or in Freddie's case, maybe 40, 50, 60 members in your club? What's that long-term vision? And then really assessing where are you now? So conducting that situational analysis and understanding the current state. So what's going on now? What's happening? What are some of those trends? Setting a goal, stretch goal, perhaps. Debbie was just talking about before about her stretch goal for the district this year. Wouldn't it be cool if we were able to grow 10 clubs in District 42, Wouldn't it be cool if we had a year where we didn't lose any clubs? And wouldn't it be super, super cool if we could recruit 40 club coaches this year to support 40 clubs in District 42? Wouldn't that be awesome? That would be. So that's her goal for this year in District 42. Now she's got to identify the roadblocks and things that are getting in the way. Why have we never gotten 40 club coaches before? Why do we in the past maybe have lost some clubs? So those are the opportunities to identify and then determining the strategies to overcome that. So what's that strategy or idea that you'd want to incorporate? So recruiting more club coaches is a strategy that will help struggling clubs, that will help ensure that we have no club loss. And those specific steps of how she's going to go about recruiting those 40 club coaches. And as always, we like to reflect, study, and adjust. So data, reports, information can help us along the way, conducting that situation analysis and knowing, hey, where could we possibly go, helping us establish our goals. And at the end as well, as Yvonne mentioned, is monitoring that progress and knowing, are we getting there? Are we actually achieving what we'd like? So again, you guys as club coaches and VP educations in District 42 are part of the district goals. So Debbie, as club growth director, wanting to support, ensure we have no clubs lost this year. The club coaches play an integral part in that. So club coaches, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you very much. You're helping the district achieve their goal. But the district needs to know how things are going as well. So there'll be some status reports that need to be provided throughout the club coach process. But we'll get into that a little bit later on. So I just want to distinguish the difference between two types of data. The first one being quantitative data versus qualitative data. Quantitative data is countable or measurable, relating to numbers. It tells us how many, how much, how often. It's fixed and universal. It's factual. It's gathered by measuring and counting and can be analyzed using like statistical analysis. How many people here love numbers? Well, we got a few people, and then we got some numbers. It's all about the numbers. So people have a mixed feeling about the numbers. And for me, I think numbers tell a story. So data speaks to me. I can see things in the data. And we'll go through a bit of an exercise and do some assessments, and you can see what it means. But it doesn't tell the whole story. There's also qualitative data that descriptive, relating to words and language. It describes certain attributes and helps us understand the why and the how behind the certain behaviors. So although data will tell us so much, it doesn't really tell us why. It just tells us what's happening, and it's very objective. Whereas qualitative data can be dynamic and subjective, open to interpretation. It's gathered through observations and interviews. You can't find out this information by just looking at dashboards or looking at reports. You need to go and ask and talk to people. And it can be analyzed or grouped into themes or categories. So thinking about your clubs, what type of information at the club level would be considered quantitative data that can be counted, measured, is factual? So you could drop it in the chat or just holler it out.
The membership number, the attendance number, the percentage of attendance.
Yep.
The growth.
Yep.
How many goals have been achieved? How many educationals have been done?
Excellent. Number of pathways achieved, Freddie mentioned. Yes, and meetings. Yep. So what about on the qualitative side? So what are some pieces of qualitative data related to your clubs?
I think when you can describe the individual growth when I saw your icebreaker, you did this. And now that you're finishing your level 1 of your visionary communication path, this is what I observe your skill development has been.
Oh, yes. Excellent. Really good example. Thanks, Reddy. Mark put in the chat, why did you leave the club? Anytime, why? Right? What else?
Why is the attendance dropping?
Yeah, absolutely. What can we do better?
Is the quality of the communication as well, which attract people in the club, or like when we talk about the moments of the truth, that is where a lot of things we look, which will be covered under the qualitative data and help us to flourish in the clubs.
Yeah. The moments of truth is a really interesting one because it's both quantitative and qualitative to some degree, right? It's a good way to turn qualitative into something you can measure. So, asking each person in the club, how would you rate the club on this item? But then it's the conversation afterwards, like why? We've been struggling in that area that we all rated it very low. So it's kind of a starting point, the quantitative data, and then the qualitative data really helps you deep dive and go lower. So back to somebody mentioned, reasons for leaving the club. Those can all get grouped or summarized into themes, but that real raw data is still very vital and important. But maybe at a theme level, so there's a number of people who've been leaving because of jobs. That's useful information that the club can action on. So you can always take qualitative information and make it a little bit quantitative so you have an idea what direction you need to go. So the two really work hand in hand. We'll get into the quantitative data a little bit more into the dashboards, and I'll show you around and do some analysis. But what I want to think as you're looking at the quantitative data, I want you to think about some qualitative ways you can get data behind that, more data. All right, and for the club coaches and the VP Eds, for your information, if you have anybody in your club who needs to be a club coach towards their distinguished Toastmaster or yourself, or are interested in assisting another club, this is the overview of the club coach process. And we'll go through this and then we'll take a look at some of the data. So the club coach program starts off with a module. So Toastmasters International now has a module in Pathways. Anyone can access it. So if you go into the Pathways area, and at the top of the there's a search bar at the top, and if you just type in club coach module, it will pop up for you. You can add it to your courses and take it. It's really good information. If anybody hasn't taken it yet, please do so. Once you've completed the club coach program, or if you've stated your intention, then it's an opportunity to get to know the club that you'd be assigned to, building some rapport, getting to know them, seeing if it's a really good fit, maybe visiting a couple of clubs that might be an opportunity for you to coach. And we have that assigned commitment, but not just the club coach, but also the at least one of the executive members, hopefully the president, but it could be really any one of them. Yes, you can take the program without becoming a club coach. The club coach module is available for everybody. So once again, just go into your Pathways program, go to the search bar at the top, or go to your Basecamp, go to the search bar at the top and type in club coach module, and it should pop up for you. So once you've got that signed commitment by both yourself, that's where you receive an official appointment from World Headquarters. So that's really your start, is when that appointment happens. You get that official confirmation from World Headquarters. So that is your opportunity to really start getting to work, having a meeting with the club executive, setting expectations, assessing the club, whether that's through moments of truth or looking through dashboards, which we'll do, and then taking that information and creating an action plan. The beginning, within 30 days, they're asking if you could complete a preliminary report, and we'll take a look at an example of one of those at the end. And then you get to work, you execute the plan, whether that's on focusing on quality meetings, membership, or recognition, wherever the gaps, your gap assessment identified the area of opportunity. And along the way, there's progress reports that you do need to submit. And then, ta-da, the club is distinguished. It's just that easy. No, it's not that easy, but okay, so let's break it down and let's get a deep dive into that assessing the club and understanding. So this is useful information for club coaches as well for the VP Eds in the room. And I'm going to take you to District 42. There's a really easy one-stop shop of how to get to the distinguished reports. So if you go to d42tm.org, and if you go and click on districts, and then there's a how to measure success, you land on this page. So the first report we're going to go through is the Distinguished Performance Reports. This is also available through your profile on toastmasters.org, but this is the quickest way to get there, so let's just click on that button. And it pops up to District 42 right away. That's the district that we belong to, although Freddie belongs to a club outside of the district, so that's okay. She can look up that other district as well. There's, just to give you an overview of this starts off with district performance, which is really high level and is used by the district leaders to assess themselves towards their goals. So the district has goals related to paid clubs, membership payments, which is different than membership. Payments just means we pay memberships twice a year. So that's kind of counting those payment periods. So our first round of payments would be one payment for each of us. And then when we do renewals, we'd all be counted as a second payment for the district goals. And then they also track distinguished clubs. There's also the division and area performance. So these are documenting what the area and division directors are looking for, things like renewals, club visits, which area directors are responsible for, and membership and club goals in the Distinguished Club Program. And then we get into club performance. So you'll see all the clubs in District 42 are listed here, but you can also search your club on this list, or you can type your club number. So for this demonstration, I would love to get a volunteer let's look at one club. Who'd like to volunteer a club for us to look at together? Freddie.
2799.
Let's take a look. Dynamically Speaking Club. All right. So this at the top is the Distinguished Club Program. Is everybody familiar with the Distinguished Club Program? Excellent. Okay, so I won't go into that, but this tells you where the club is at a snapshot as of today. So the membership base for this club was 22. So it's essentially where they ended last year, June 30th. That becomes their base for this next year. To date, they have 22 members. To be eligible for the Distinguished Club Program, they need 20 members. So the eligibility for the Distinguished Club Program is 20 members or a net growth of 5 new members.
Did that change this year? So now you only need a net growth of 3?
Correct. I'm curious. It used to be updated on here, so I'm curious why it changed. But they did confirm.
I think you're in year 2018-19.
Oh, thank you. Let's do that again. Thank you, Debbie. So note for District 42, that link on the website sent me to an old year. So we'll need to get that updated. Okay, where are we? September. Yeah. There we go. All right, so we're current. Normally when you land here, it should be most current. Okay, yes, that's right. So that dynamically speaking, where are you again? I can't remember the name or the number, sorry. There we go.
Division D 122799.
All right, so they got a net growth of 3 new members for the eligibility. So there you go. So right now they have 5 goals met. They need 5 to be distinguished, 7 to be select distinguished, and 9 to be president's distinguished. We won't see the actual status change until April 1st dues renewals are complete. So because they have 23 members to date right now, they should be eligible, but we always need to wait till the second dues renewal period to confirm that. Freddie.
Is that October 1st, not April 1st, Catherine?
No, we'll have to wait till April 1st. So right now, October 1st is dues renewal right now. So that's the first term of the year of renewals. So we need to wait until the second renewal period, April 1st, to determine, okay, did you keep those 23 members or what happened? So it's not until after April 1st that we will be able to like they'll give you a status of distinguished. Yvonne?
A question, is it my voice is leaving me. Are they supposed to increase 3 off their base of 22, like required 20? They have more than 20 already. Do they need to increase 3 from their base to qualify?
No. So it's 20 members or a net growth of 3. So if they're over, if their base is, if they're at 20 already, then, or over 20, then they would be eligible.
So they win a bonus point. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's 20 members or net growth of 3.
So Yvonne, if you started with 8 members, you would need to have a net growth of 3. So you would need 11 members by the April renewal period.
Cool. Okay, so let's take a look at the results and see what the numbers are telling us. So we know some information from Freddie already. So let's, everyone else but Freddie, take a look at these numbers and what questions come to mind for you. So let's look at the education goals right now. So they got 3 out of 4 level 1s. They got 2 out of 2 level 2s, more level 2 awards, 2 more level 2 awards to get. They've already achieved 2 level 3 awards, 1 level 4, 5, or DTM, and 2 additional level 4, 5, or DTM award. So what questions would you have for Freddie or this club to understand what's happening?
I would have a question that within like it's less than 3 months, how they achieve this like projects. 3 months mean like 12 weeks, 12 meetings only. So this is a great achievement, admirable at all levels, but should know how they did it, like how they motivate their members to do it, projects at least like 2 persons in every week.
Yeah. So Freddie, from your perspective, because you can give us some insight while we're live here, how were you able to achieve that in your club?
Well, actually, we take a threefold approach to it. And Nadeem, thank you for asking. Number one, we are booking our speaking slots about 2 months to 10 weeks ahead. And each and every one of our members works with their mentor. and their mentor is working with them on their individual goals. So we've got individual goals, the mentors are working with them, and our schedule runs between 8 and 10 weeks out. If you want to speak at our club, you've got to be booking probably the end of November right now. Also, there are a number of members of our club that speak at other clubs. Where is she? Marg has had, entertained several of our speakers at her club. We speak at other clubs and other districts. So we don't limit the speakers just to our club. And one of the other things that we are known for is that when we have a speaker that is speaking somewhere else, they never travel alone. So we always have a minimum of 2 dynamically speaking members that will go with the individual, usually virtually, but sometimes they're professional level presentations in person where we have club members go so that the speech is evaluated and it is counted towards a Pathways project that supports the individual members' goal setting.
Excellent. Well, we're getting lots of tips here too from Freddie. So, and of course, if you guys ever want to reach out to Freddie, she's more than happy to provide some help and support. So, Dynamically Speaking is a very strong club, and I often take examples of things that they do into presentations outside of our district. So, what time do you meet, and what day of the week, Freddie?
We meet at 6:58 a.m. Thursday mornings. It is the most dynamic way you will ever start your Thursday morning. We meet for 1 hour and 2 minutes. We start with 2 minutes of fun and levity, and then we have a very well-structured meeting. We conclude exactly at 8 a.m. because people have to go to work, life, etc. But then we have what we call our tailgate after 8, where we can just hang out for half an hour and meet our guests, etc. Right now, we are meeting exclusively on Zoom because we have international members and people from across Canada. And because we meet at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning, it's really hard to find a venue. So we have elected to just stay online, but we do a couple of virtual events a year.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Freddie. All right. I have some questions. So Freddie, I'm not going to let you answer them, but here are some questions that come to mind when I look at these educational awards. So one of the things I'm looking at is this the same, like how many people, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 achievements already. How many people are achieving? So is it 10 or is it one person getting all these awards? So you can't tell that from just looking at this data alone. So I would go and look into this section here called daily reports. One of the reports that is really helpful for club coaches, especially as you're exploring current state, and for VP Eds that are kind of new to the VP Ed role, you can go back and look at like historical information, is the educational achievements. So I can search and find this club. I'll have to search the other way because they're a really club. So 2799, Dynamically Speaking. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a duplicate. 5. Ooh. 5. Holy cow. Okay, so 5 people, 5 individual people have achieved those records. So we've got Samantha, Joelle, Dana, Jacqueline, and somebody who's put their privacy settings off, but we can see their membership number. If you're a club executive, you can go in and take a look at who that is. But for privacy reasons, they chose not to display their name. So this person has achieved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 awards. And mentoring program. So that doesn't show up on the report. So 10 awards for this person. So that's kind of interesting, right? So I would want to find out more about that. I like the balance of like one person's really out there striving, but it's not just that one person, it's a number of people. So I would look at, ask the club about pathways adoptions. So is that consistent across all the members in the club? Is everybody in pathways? And I'm sure Freddie would tell us yes, because they have a very robust mentoring program. Talk to Freddie if you want more information about that. But I'm curious about that. So I would ask more questions about high number of educational achievements and just see if it, like what percent of the clubs are actually, members are actually engaged in the program. So that's just an example of just part of the story from the statistics that really get into a little bit more, more questions that come to mind. So membership as well. So we're looking at, they've got 23 members and 1 new member to date. So what question might you ask Freddie or the club executive about that if you wanted to know more information about this club? What are you curious about? Everyone but Freddie. Mark.
Do you have a membership building program that you're putting into place? And how did you reach the first 23 members?
Excellent. What other questions come to mind for you guys?
When was our last open house? To try and attract new members again.
What else are you curious
I would
about?
ask, what is the conversion rate from guests to members?
Yeah, because you can't see that here, right? How many guests have you had over the last so many months that converted to 1 and come up with that conversion? Great questions. What about in the training? So 6 club officers trained in round 1. What questions come to mind? What are you curious about?
What happened to the 7th one?
Let's believe they're all as committed in the second one.
I think I would contribute. They are very committed people. And as a whole, they are working as a team to escalate everyone's, and like support everyone to join hands and move the club, lift the club upward.
Yeah. And what about on the administration side? What questions would you have for this club on membership renewals, dues on time, and club officer list on time? So they've already submitted their minimum of 8 before the deadline of October 1st. And they submitted their club officer list by the end of June 30th last year. Or sorry, not last year, but before June 30th, this Toastmaster year.
I would say, like, I would ask Freddie, what are the attractions you have in your club which you like convince the new members? So what are the strategies you are adopting? What are the marketing modes or the quality of the communication you have to welcome the new guests, how you entertain them? What are the like key points you emphasize or the club emphasize so that people are like bind with this club and new members are also coming.
Yeah. So there's lots of information to glean from this. So I'm going to actually take it another step further. So Freddie kind of hinted to this. So we will, just let me go back to D42. I'd be curious about the club history. And again, for the VP eds that are just coming into that position, you might want to take a look at your club history as well. So there's a couple of different reports you can look at, whichever one feels right to you. They're both kind of different formats. These are not reports that are endorsed by Toastmasters International, only because they haven't really been able to duplicate the reports. So please take this with a grain of salt. The final record is the distinguished performance reports. But if you want to get a sense or an idea, these are some quick summary reports that you can see. So Mike Rafferty's 10-year report. If you click on that link and open up this first one, club and area performance reports, and we'll enter 2799 in the club number and submit that. So it says it's a 10-year report, but it goes back as far as 2004, 2005, these reports. So this shows us at a glance with some red and green indicators, the performance of this club leading up all the way to the past. So as you can see, Freddie was right. They have been presidents distinguished for consecutive years over year. And 1 year where they were only distinguished, oh. It shows the traditional program, which is no longer for anybody who's a new Toastmaster. Not much to worry about there, but you can kind of see the volume of educational awards, and these are the Pathways Awards. So there can see where the transition year was happening. So this might be like a good spot to look at. So you'll see the trends in new members over the years. Looks like they had a huge growth year in 2020 during the pandemic. And I do know why, because I was there and saw it. But it's been tapering off over the last little while. So that might be something. Last year it started to slow down. So that might be something for the club to look into and figure out what's going on there. The Pathways goals seems to be fairly strong. Look at all these level 1s in this 1 year. Kind of makes sense. They had 25 new members that year. So the next year, they got them through level 1. So that's logical. If you saw high numbers and you didn't see a lot of level 1s, that might be interesting as well too, because it'd be like, hey, what happened to those members? Like, how come they didn't get moving, right? Get going into the program. So there's a lot of information here. The other report is the George Marshall's Tools for Toastmasters, and you can take a look at a number of different awards, but there is a DCP history report here too. So you can enter a club number and go, and it'll show you a summary report as well. So it shows you a couple of different perspectives. It shows you the past year-end results, which was similar to that Mike Rafferty's 10-year report. But it also shows this month in past years. So we are in September right now. So how is the club right now in September compared to how it was last year in September? So you can do a month-to-month comparison and see if you're trending faster in some metrics in September than you were last year, or slower, and look into that and find out why that is. So lots of great information out there. You can get that from the distinguished performance reports as well. But it doesn't give you a good summary or a visual snapshot. So you can go back into previous years. So you could go back as of September to previous years into the club and see the results there. Vision D. So the education awards were at this time much lower last year than they were this year. Again, you kind of have to watch those membership trends. Like when lots of members come in, then you should see lots of level 1s kind of at some point. or lots of educational words come in. So does anybody have any questions about these performance reports?
So Catherine, just kindly show me the previous report, how you got that one, the route, how we will get that one, the first one.
So I will direct you to this site, and I'll pop it into the chat. So at the District 42 website, you can go into districts and how to measure success, and that gives you the links to all these reports all in one place. So that's probably the quickest, easiest way for you to get access to the reports. And Debbie will confirm that this distinguished reports link opens up to the current year. She'll take that away. And then there's the Mike Rafferty reports or George Marshall tools for Toastmasters, lots of different things to look at.
Catherine, do all of these reports basically give you the same information, but possibly just in a different format? Or is there different information in each of these 5 reports?
There could be different information. So for example, there was George Marshall had, there's like club education history you can dive into. So you can see trends over years, all years, current year, 1 year back, 2 or 3, different award types. So you could look at those specifically. So these are definitely things you can get off of the distinguished performance reports, but you'll have to go into different reports to grab them. And you'd have to go back and select a year to capture the previous years. Whereas these reports provide you a summary of, say, past years that you can check. And some of these are for the district in particular, so may not be of interest to you. But there's some. But I just encourage you guys to explore around. And again, these are ways that you can tell a story, particularly to the club executive that you're working with. Hey, did you know? Provide a bit of a summary report for them. This is how the club's been performing over the last 10 years. We see some trends here. What's happening? Talk to the members that have been there for a while and really understand and appreciate what's going on. I get super excited